What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you guys are doing fantastic today. And what is going on with the market? Just when you think it's going to drop, it keeps pushing up. But before we get started, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Yes, I'm waiting. There are a lot of viewers and no more subscribers. So be so kind and hit the subscribe. Now, since the market is closed on Monday, that kind of leaves us in a situation in which you never look forward to a Monday as much as you did this weekend. Being said, I didn't want to get too much into individual stocks today, but I do want to talk about the state of the market. If you haven't noticed, everybody likes to talk about this market crash, even myself. I've talked about a correction coming. I have taken some bullish positions as of Friday. I did take a position in Tesla. I did take a position in WWE. I did take a position in you. I did take a position in the Very Good Butcher. I've added to that position, actually. But being said, I think a lot of it, I think we still got another week or two of pushing, and I've talked about this. I don't know how much of a correction is coming. A lot of people want to think it's doom or gloom, but I think a lot of people just have last March's drop in mind. Again, we must remind ourselves that this was a historical event. Something like that, I believe, is not going to happen. There is too much propping up the market at the current levels. But being said, I think a lot of times now it's not going to be the correction. I think that we got too much stuff. We got stimulus talks coming back up. Where do I feel that we are with the stimulus talks this week? As far as the vote on passing the stimulus, it won't happen this week. Congress is out to lunch, so to speak, this week, so we won't get any kind of push there. Being said, it is a short week. I don't really see us doing a lot this week. I can see us continuing to run through earnings. We still have the end of February, which has big earnings coming up. This week has big earnings coming up. Again, I don't want to get into a lot of that stuff today per se, but I will get more into that on the Monday video. So look forward to Monday's video because I'll get more in depth on the individual stocks. Again, I just wanted to talk about the market's current state. So being said, I wanted to kind of look over the current economic calendar today, which is something I don't normally do. But we like to switch things up here. We don't like to always look at the same stuff, right? So being said, economic calendar, as everybody knows, Monday is closed. I've been kind of looking at this, just the regular stuff for retail sales and stuff comes out, business investors. Let's see. I didn't really see anything this week. Again, Congress is out, so you're not going to get any kind of stimulus news this week. Jobless claims continue to do well. All numbers continue to do well. That being said, there's not really a lot there this week. It's just the regular mumbo jumbo. And then the next week after that, nothing major. Again, we're going to look at the numbers. One thing I must say is, actually go ahead and remove this. We'll just go ahead and throw up the chart. So we'll just get right into the charts. Again, the market itself on the daily, we've still been bouncing against that trend line. Now, it really depends on how we're going to open this evening, right? I'm actually recording this Sunday morning, so we don't know how the market is going to open tonight. But yet again, that really does not matter. It matters what's going to happen come Tuesday morning. Although I will talk about the particular stocks I'm looking at tomorrow in tomorrow's video. Ultimately, I think, again, how we open tonight, if we can open above this trend line, we could still run. We could still push towards 400. I think 400 being that mental hurdle mark that we're all looking at. So I think we still got some room to run here. 400 is still a ways away, especially when you're talking about the market in general. So we still got a lot of ways to run. But I mean, looking at everything, QQQ, I was looking at this as well. I mean, everything is bull flagging right now. Bull flagging on the 1 hour, pushing up daily. Everything retested on QQQ, so that's a good sign, because I was talking about this the past couple weeks, I should say, is big tech has really been struggling. Right after they had earnings, they sold off a little bit, but they've held. And this is another game time theory I have, is that the market in itself, or big tech, and this is another game time theory I have, is the fact that, with inflation and everything that is going on, people are looking for assets. The cheapest asset you can buy and the most accessible asset you can buy at the moment with the money that you have is stocks. People are buying, holding in preparation for inflation. So I think that's why we are just not dropping. Unless something comes out, unless Powell comes out with something saying that, hey, you know what, we're going to increase rates, I think at that point we can see a crazy drop. At this point, if we get more stimulus and that passes, the rates continue to stay low, we're just going to continue to run. And we're only going to see these little small, like 4% drops going into whenever that case is, whenever Powell comes out and says, hey, things are, again, we're raising rates. And what we've learned from last week is that he's talked about it could be a little bit sooner than he thought it was, but he wasn't sure because the numbers are very good right now. Again, the market is going through change, right? There's a big change. Innovation is taking leaps and strides, and this is why ARK is becoming so big, because of the fact that you are looking at new technologies, growth stocks that are screaming up, and they seem like these numbers are just absolutely absurd, right? But you have to understand that this is going to be the new market, right? Value stocks aren't going to be pushing crazy numbers, and evaluations and all that kind of stuff aren't going to be the same. Yes, I think a lot of people are buying into the future, but I think that innovation is going to new places that we've never seen, right? We were talking about going to Mars, right? That used to be a joke, right? If you were back in the 1990s, people would joke and laugh about that stuff. People at one point used to joke and laugh about the world being round. I mean, some people still think the world is flat, right? But ultimately, you have to understand that it is a joke until it's not. Bitcoin was a joke until now it's not. You got someone like Tesla that put their assets into Bitcoin. Never come into things thinking that they're 100% joke, right? Try to come out with some kind of truthful eye and future forward thinking about that particular thing. And is it a real possibility? It is a real possibility, right? So the state of the market right now, it's hard to tell if we will get that correction. I talked about the correction, but now after really watching this week, because I didn't really take a lot of positions this week, we are only selling off a little bit, right? And then just when you think we're going to nosedive, the buyers come back in. People are trying to obtain assets. They're buying into these bigger companies. This is also why specs, and this is also why penny stocks have seen such a big influx. Do I agree with those? Not 100%, right? Specs are still very risky. Pennies are still very risky. This too will eventually die out, right? Once I think people get enough money, they start investing in more high quality stocks, right? I think this is just a rotation right now. Again, everybody was throwing their money. That's one thing to mention too, is everybody's been throwing their money in the MJ space over the past week. You see a massive run in MJ space. And then now towards the end of the week, take profit on MJ space, and all them MJ stocks just came crashing down. This week, I think ultimately what we need to look at is, where is that rotation going? Where is all that money going? I think a lot of it might go into plant-based stuff. I think a lot of it may go into other trending things right now. It may go into some value stocks, right? Maybe we get some more news on that particular front. Maybe go back into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is again flying up, flagging. It's ready to rock, right? It's been pressing against this essentially this resistance, right? It's just a matter of time before this breaks, I think, in my mind. And again, I talked about this past week. If you missed that, if Tesla is only leading the way, you'll find other companies that will invest in Bitcoin. Some percentage, depending on what that percentage is, will push Bitcoin to new highs. Right now, I'm not big into crypto. I do have investment in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I haven't invested in any other coins. Again, that is a complete investment. I don't trade Bitcoin. I invest in it for the long haul, right? Because I believe at one point it will. Do I think it will overall take over currency? I don't think so. Not in my mind. Again, I come from that state of mind where it could. I'm not going to just rule it out, but it could, right? But the bonds have been selling off. I mean, the bonds I don't think really are going to move unless there's some. It's hard to tell with bonds. Bonds is at a weird situation, and the market sell off. Maybe people will shift their bonds, but I think more so people are just going to start stacking their money in Bitcoin, right? I don't know what the shape of the bonds market will be. Again, I think we're drifting away from old school investing into a new realm that a lot of people are unaware of. A lot of people are getting crushed in because of the fact that it's changing so dramatically much. Gold, I mean, we are just in a weird state right now, to be 100% honest. And I know this is also the Wall Street bets realm, trying to push stuff up, but I just think the state of the market right now is definitely going to be interesting. Tonight will be interesting. Again, if we can pop over this trend line, if we open up over this trend line, we're going to run. I foresee 400 if we do tonight pop over that line. I think we got 2 more weeks of earnings. We still got some big earnings. Square still hasn't come up. Etsy still hasn't come up. Right, you have another one. You got Planters on Tuesday morning that can start us out the gate. Again, there's just too much going, and the numbers are great, right? It's just essentially forward thinking that is stopping a lot of people pulling their money out, reinvesting it. A lot of people are going with rotation. You're seeing a lot of massive moves in different sectors. Again, while the stock market has just kind of been choppy. But again, I want to point out that QQQ, I've been talking about this, about how Tesla has been going sideways, about how Apple has been going sideways, and Facebook is going sideways. But QQQ, right, it's ready to rock. Right, I think the rotation comes back into tech. We're going to see 400 easy. And then at that point, 2 weeks, do we have 2 weeks from that point where we correct? Maybe. I'm still pretty liquid. For the most part, I'm back in some particular plays because I am looking for the rotation in the news that is coming in March, especially for things like the very good Butcher. I think we'll have a nice rotation into that coming in the next 2 weeks into March. Once it changes over to the different exchange, I think it's really going to pop from that point. Also being said, you have to look, again, the sleeping giants, right? Big tech has been sleeping. We realize it's been sleeping. Is it going to awaken this week or next week and drive the market even more? I think it's even possible. I think that's why I started taking a couple more bullish positions again. Again, managing my risk, right? A lot of the positions I am taking, again, are either in shares or leaps. I'm not taking a couple months out, essentially to protect against what could be possible, right? There's always the black swan in the cards, so you have to keep that in mind as well. But again, I think this week could be a very bullish week, in my opinion. It's a short week. I think it'd be very bullish. And then next week, if we get news on stimulus, that could push us even more. So you're looking again end of March or into early March, going in finishing up February, going into early March. And at that point, I want to be a little bit more wary again and then try to liquidate some positions again at that point. Again, I like to rotate all my positions. I'm like an active investor. I like to rotate my positions and try to find the sectors and build positions on top of that and go from there. But as of right now, I think the market as a whole is quite interesting. It's at an interesting point. But again, I was talking about assets. Stocks are the cheapest asset at the moment. And that is prevalent. When I saw on Friday that we wouldn't sell off, and that's what I started thinking, okay, this thing's going to push back up. It's not selling off. We had a bullish box going on SPY. It was ready to take off again. People are trying to get ready for inflation. And so what they will do is purchase the cheapest asset that they can find. Maybe you can't buy a house. Maybe you can't find Series 1 Pokemon cards, right? They're going for ridiculous prices right now. But stocks you can buy. So keep that in mind. And remember to manage your risk. And remember that tomorrow I will have the individual stocks for you guys. So don't fret, that will come. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Till next time, guys, I will see you guys later.